Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dr. Darnise's House of Religion, Magic, and Conjure. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope everybody is doing well. I do these go live things, and I have to get my camera angle right, but bear with me for a moment. Um, all right, so I'm really just coming on to let you all know about the new class that is about to start next Sunday, June 21st. I'm going to start with the first installment of the class, Black Religions is Resistance. Right, so I want to talk about how the different religious expressions, the way Black people do it, it's always about resistance. It's always about liberation. It's always about the revolution. And so a lot of times we might not realize that because we're so used to, not thinking about institutional religions as being particularly revolutionary. And my point in this class is to say that, when Black people do it, when it's Black religion, it's always about the revolution. Quiet as it's kept. And it had to be kept quiet for a long time. So in this class, we'll be talking about James Cone for one. I did the video last week about James Cone and Black theology of liberation, also the cross and the lynching tree, where he's making that correlation between, Jesus, the man, being persecuted by the Roman Empire, being lynched, aka crucified, right? And what happens to Black and brown bodies now? Like we just had another, death in Atlanta, right, at the Wendy's drive-through. Another Black man was killed by the police. So this ongoing kind of lynching, James Cone says we saw that with Jesus back in the day. Again, he was a minority person who was speaking out against the oppressive system under which he lived, the Roman Empire. So, and that may be the story that you're most familiar with, actually. But there are other aspects of Black religion that are also about resistance. So maybe you saw the video I did where I talked about hoodoo, that African American Southern magical religious system that enslaved people created. If you didn't watch those videos, go back and watch them. I think you'll like them. But anyway, I'll be talking a little bit about that too, but primarily I want to use this as episode 1 of the class I'm going to do. So the class structure is going to be, kind of one at a time, so people can pick and choose the things that you're most interested in. And so this will be our jumping off point. James Cone will be our jumping off point as we talk about what Black religion is and what Black theology is in particular. So yes, I will be talking about other things as well. At some point, I'm going to be talking about my book, Beyond Christianity, African Americans in the New Thought Church. I will be explaining to y'all what that is. Maybe some of y'all know what New Thought is: religious science, science of mind, Unity Church. Maybe some of y'all are in Chicago, Christ Universal Temple, or if you're in LA, Michael Beckwith. It's a good solid handful of Black people doing New Thought, but I'll come back to that for another class. But yeah, so if you want to go ahead and get maybe the e-version of one of James Cone's books, that would be great. You don't have to have it. It's not like class where I'm going to say, did you do your homework? But I'm going to be, referring to those books. I'm going to probably be reading from some of, or at least quoting Cone. Sorry if this lighting is not great. I don't know what just happened. I had good lighting and now I don't know what happened. But anyway, that will be our jumping off point. It'll be the first of several episodes, as I was saying. The class will be recorded, and you will, after you have registered, you will immediately be able to have access to the recording. So don't worry if you can't make it during that time. It'll be 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern. So, figure out your time zone, your mountain time, central time, whatever. But 1 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, gosh, y'all, Sunday the 21st, 1 p.m. Pacific. The details are in the description box below. Please do sign up. I'm looking forward to doing it. I know I've been talking about doing a class for a while, and some of you have been asking me, and I'm glad that you have interest, and I hope that you will be able to join. Because it's important, right? I mean, Cone said, in creating Black theology, he wanted to put together a Christianity that was not just about being in church or, worshiping some white Jesus, some religion that had focus on the afterlife when black people were dying in the street. And so he was writing this in 1970, 1971 initially, when he said, we're just coming off the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement. So he wanted to put together black civil rights, black power, and theology. And that's what he was able to do. That's why we consider him to be the father of black liberation theology, because he did that rather remarkably. Of course, he had all kind of resistance from his white colleagues in the seminary where he taught. They couldn't understand why he's introducing race into Christian theology. It didn't dawn on them that they had already introduced race because they'd made Jesus white for some reason, right? That's what I always say to people when they say to me, even in teaching this material, well, why do you have to bring race into it? It's just Christianity. Anybody can believe in Jesus. And I said, well, why did you make Jesus white? And then they don't have an answer for that, right? I said, that was when you brought race into it. You could have left him in his original ethnicity that we know as a historical person, a Palestinian brown Jewish man, but you felt the need to change his ethnicity and make him white. So James Cone said, we won't leave it at that. We can find what's liberatory and revolutionary in it. Again, even if you are a Muslim, a black Muslim, member of the Nation of Islam, it's all about being attentive to the needs of black people in particular, right? And then these traditions, these African traditions that we're picking up again, we're reaching for that African because we recognize there's something rich in our culture. We need to be decolonized in all ways, decolonized in our mind, decolonized in our spiritual practices, and we are looking for our own stuff, our own material, right? Our own spiritualities. And so anyway, I'm going to be covering in the different episodes a lot of that. But to start with, we will be using James Cone as our jumping off point. Black religion is resistance, and we will not forget our ancestors. As I always say, we will not be erased, not on my watch. So again, I hope you're going to join me. And that's going to be it, y'all. Bye for now.